The Christmas party. My parents gave everyone presents except my children. We don't welcome them, said Mom. We calmly went and I stopped paying for their repairs. My parents have a Christmas party every year. Has been going on since before I was born, which means it's been going on for at least 40 years because I'm 38. Same house, same neighborhood, same mix of relatives and old family friends who have been coming so long they're basically furniture. My Aunt Rosie always brings the same green bean casserole. My Uncle Pete always has one too many by 7:30. My mom does the whole house in lights and it looks genuinely beautiful from the street. And I used to love it when I was a kid. I married my wife Nina 6 years ago. She's Filipino-American, grew up in California, has a laugh that fills whatever room she's in. We have 2 kids, Mateo who's 4 and Leia who just turned 2. They are without any bias whatsoever extremely good kids. Mateo is obsessed with trains. Leah is currently in a phase where she narrates everything she does out loud, which is as funny as it sounds. My parents were never warm to Nina. I want to be careful how I say this because it took me a long time to admit it clearly even to myself. They were never rude exactly, never said anything directly, just always a little cooler than they were with everyone else. A little more formal. My mom would talk around her at family things rather than to her. My dad would forget details about her life that he'd been told multiple times. I made excuses for years. They're just reserved. They just need time. They'll come around. Mateo is 4 and Leia is 2 and they have not come around. The Christmas party this past December. Nina and I drove over with the kids. Mateo in his little button-down shirt that he was already complaining about by the time we pulled into the driveway. Leah with a bow in her hair that lasted approximately 4 minutes. Normal stuff. We walked in and it was the usual scene. Relatives filling up the living room. The casserole on the table. Uncle Pete already working on his second drink by the looks of it. They did presents after dinner. My parents do this thing where they call everyone up by family group and hand out gifts. Boxes and bags lined up on the dining room table. Name tags on everything. Been doing it the same way for decades. They called my brother's family. His wife and their 3 kids went up and got their stuff. Big pile of presents. The kids were excited. Normal Christmas moment. They called my name. I went up. My mom handed me one gift. One. I looked at the table and said, "What about Nina and the kids?" And she said, in front of everyone, in the middle of the party, "We don't really welcome them." Just like that. Like it was a reasonable sentence. I looked at my dad. He was looking at the floor. I said, "Okay." I went and found Nina, who was in the kitchen talking to my aunt, and I said, "We're leaving." And she looked at my face and didn't ask any questions. I got the kids' coats. I buckled Mateo and Leia into their car seats and we drove home. Mateo fell asleep before we hit the highway. Leia kept saying, "Party, party, party," for about 10 minutes and then she was out too. Nina didn't say much on the drive. She didn't have to. She'd known something was off for years and now it had a shape. Here's the thing about my parents that I maybe should have mentioned earlier. They're not doing great financially. Haven't been for a while. Their roof needed work 2 years ago and I paid for half of it. Their water heater went last spring and I covered that too. Not because they asked, because they're my parents and I thought that's what you do. My dad called in January about the furnace making a noise. I said I'd look into it and then I didn't call back for 2 weeks and when I did, I said I couldn't help right now. He asked why and I said I had my own expenses and left it at that. My mom called once after the party, left a voicemail that said she hoped there were no hard feelings and that family was complicated. I haven't called back yet. I'm not sure what I'd say. Maybe nothing. Maybe there's nothing that needs saying right now. Mateo asked me last week why we didn't go to Grandma and Grandpa's house for Christmas. And I told him we did our own thing this year and he said, "Can we do that every year because apparently our thing involved more dessert." Kids are good at finding the part that matters.